And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CreateOS launch party. It's not, I would say it's a party. Three is always a gang, but I would say most of the team would like to be here, but everyone is busy to ensure that the platform is running smoothly and providing the stellar service that we aim to provide for all the new traffic. And it's a big event. And here I'm stoked to be joined by Sid and Alex. And I would say today we'll keep it pretty informal, and it's an important milestone. It's something that we've been working on for the last at least 10 weeks, I would say, and it's a lot of effort. Yeah, a lot of effort went into it. So um, I'd like to start by saying that it's just the start. So it's not just oh my god, we're launching and then the lights turn off. But if kind of the opposite. We're looking at it as it is an ambitious undertaking, what we're trying to do here with CreateOS, or just in general. So we're looking at it as a more like a marathon than a sprint. But we want to celebrate today with everyone, both the people who've trusted us so far, new users. Anyone is welcome. This stream is available for anyone to also go and have a look at a later date. We do everything in the open. So if you guys have any kind of feedback about the platform or about a feature that might not be working, my DMs, Alex's DMs, Sid's DMs, and Naman, Sheena, everyone else are open. So you can just DM us and we'll make sure to have it addressed. So yeah, this is a little bit of a remark, but yeah, guys, if you want to introduce yourselves, and I'm sure they're already aware of who you are, and then we'll take it from there.
Sid, you go first.
Sure. So yeah, I think this is not my first time in this AMA. So I'm Sid. I'm the product manager. I'm really excited. Also very nervous. I mean, there's just a mixed bag of feelings. I can't really truly describe what's going on, but really happy with CreateOS and what's the positive feedback that we've been getting. I think majority of the people, I mean, I personally also prior to CreateOS or prior to vibe coding, such platforms, it was very hard for me to, there's so many ideas you have, especially if you have a creative mind, but putting that into execution and actually getting that thing live, it used to just either take days or months, or just beat you down, because there's so many things that so many moving parts. And if like probably I'm just biased because I'm managing the CreateOS pipeline. But if someone else made this, I would truly enjoy using it, creating stuff, getting my ideas into a real product, and then finally seeing if I can get revenue. And as everyone knows that how job markets are, how recession is hitting, it's now it's not like if you're in a job then you're totally safe. You need to start building. There's entrepreneurship that is going to excel or skyrocket. So there's so many startups coming. So I think this is a really great platform to test out your ideas, implement it, deploy it, and finally monetize it. So that whole pipeline, when you have it in under one hood, I think that's one of the best things to have. So yeah, Alex, over to you.
What a start. Now I have to match the energy. I like this. Yeah, so on my side, if you remember a few months ago, we picked some very creative ways of describing ourselves. Sid is very, I think he's been very conservative in this in this case, just calling himself as a product manager. But on my side, I picked hype surgeon. One side because just using the word marketing, I don't think it cuts it anymore. The boundaries of what is someone who is doing marketing to what is the rest of the team has actually been blurring, and part of it is also the vibe coding stuff. So on my side, I like to be on the cutting edge of what is possible when it comes to driving new users, driving new attention, looking at the narratives, looking at the messaging, looking at our audiences, being obsessed by our community, just getting and finding new ways, creative ways of really creating that sense of delight through products, but also beyond, which is why we have launched the new brand. There's no surprise by now. If you go to our website, Gone is the old and welcome the new. It's definitely, at least for me, it's a massive step forward in us being able to reach new audiences with a product that really makes a difference in way more people, I think, with what we have. The philosophy, the core values behind NodeOps have not changed. They've just got much, much bigger. The ambition is the same, which is to really make the life of builders enjoyable, enjoyable and valuable, right? Valuable means that it creates value, whether it's for you as a builder or for the people that are using the products that you build. There must be value creation into what you do, even if it's just fun and you just do it because you just want to, you know, just have fun. Like you don't have to be professional builders and do something that will scale to a unicorn. Otherwise, don't go and don't build. If there is something that I really enjoy about the new brand and how, as a hype surgeon, I try to figure out ways to be surgically accurate in find that enjoyment into the platform, the website, the communication, the social media, the graphics, is really that sense of playful delight that I think will bring a lot of joy to everybody. So, yeah, the Welcome CreateOS. I've got, I think, the first official merge. Actually, it's unofficial because I hacked it by myself. But I think there will be more and more changes coming our way. So, yeah, hype surgeon, not scared of the blood. So, if I see blood, I just go and swim like a shark to try and get CreateOS in as many people's houses as possible. Eric, you
Okay.
should introduce yourself officially as well.
Yeah. I think everyone sort of knows who I am, or at least hope so, or everyone who's new here might not know. So I think it's funny that given how vocal we've been, just in general, but we've been a little bit more cryptic over the last 2, 3 weeks, because we haven't been able to shed light purposely on what's been going on. Now you know what the team has been working on, but I think from now on you can expect the total opposite, right? Which is to sustain a pretty um, uh, copious amount, I would say, and commitment to letting you know essentially what the community is building and what we're also building. Because a priority that at least it's coming from my end now, but I'm sure it's also coming from Alex because and Sid, I'm speaking more to Alex nowadays than my girlfriend as well. So it's just also about understanding that with this new product, everyone can build, right? And that is something that we'll be doing, leading the charge ourselves. So I'll make it probably like a daily or bi-daily commitment to sit down, build something, and show everyone what works, what didn't, what prompt to use. You know what I mean? Just do everything very transparently. You can expect vibe coding sessions to come from moderated by me, Alex, and anyone else from the team who wants to do it, because at the end of the day, this is a collective journey. I wouldn't even say effort or mission, because there is no such thing as a final destination. I can already assure you that the team, I wouldn't say today, but is already thinking on how to further meliorate and improve and enhance the experience, right? Which means that you can expect CreateOS, as previous Notice products, to be iteratively improved upon feedback, upon just general observation of what works, what doesn't. And yeah, I think if I heard someone else from another team speak and have such an approach, it's I'll be pretty eager to give it a try, right? And so yeah, I would say this, and then I think the last 2, 3 weeks have been manic from my perspective, at least, because it's been about outreach and understanding and penetration and distribution. So it's kind of hard sometimes where when you have to present something in a mysterious manner, because you can't really give away too much before they've shown an interest to actually use your platform, and are they the right UCP or not, right? But I think it's been a very what can I say, useful journey to understand how to best position and how to best convey and communicate what CreateOS is, which to me is essentially like a home for anyone, which could become which falls under three buckets, right? Which is building, deploying, which is also for builders, and monetizing. And anyone can now build with vibe coding, and deployment is also maybe for someone who already has some existing baggage or knowledge, and is keen to deploy their projects on our platform, all under one hood. So my first question for you two, apologies for the long rant, is given your different angles, right? So maybe you see it more from a technical product led standpoint, and Alex more from a marketing slash just like external standpoint and perspective. Considering that CreateOS, it's a pretty ambitious effort of pulling together services and features and flows that are more often than not associated in the AI space with single entities, right? For example, vibe coding, Lovable, Base44, Replit, V0, um, deployment, Vercel, Rectify, Netlify, Railway, and then monetization. It'll be NodeOps because nobody is doing it that well, and we'll set the benchmark. But how do you see this ambition, right? You from a product standpoint, and Alex, you from a social standpoint. Do you think it's a great thing to have? And just in general, your general observation.
Sure. I mean, like as you mentioned, like while you were, telling us what exactly, you know, there is we have in the market, like you named couple of vibe coding solutions, you named couple of deployment solutions, and still, like, people have to manage things separately. But what our philosophy is that finally, when you have an idea, you want to make it into a product, a good use case, and then finally deploying it, we are not seeing this in, like, phases that, okay, I'll do create separately, I'll do deploy separately. It's all part of one process, right? So why have multiple products or platforms to do the same thing, right? At the end, you want the entire flow to be as seamless as possible, because our final destination is not just a deployment or not just a code which is wipe coded. Our final destination is a product that generates revenue. So for that, we need to have that infra or have that dev tooling available to take your idea from scratch to the final product. So in between, whatever is needed, we're going to be building that. In fact, if like many, since we are in the age of AI, everyone knows how LMs work. The more you train, the better it gets. I think it's the same philosophy that we follow with products, that you know I mean, there's no one perfect product, and there's no one point that perfectness exists. It's a reiterative process. The better you train your LLM, the better you train your features or products, or the more you think about it, the better the product will get. So as rightly mentioned, that this is not just the end of it, that we've launched it now, just fingers crossed, let's see how many users we get. It's again an iterative process. I mean, the more users we interact with, the more creators, businesses, startups we interact with, the better we're going to understand pain points, and based on that, we're going to providing solutions. In fact, you can even think of it like the spectrum is too wide. Like, we've had like a 7-year old on, like, on one spectrum, we've had a 7-year old build websites without any coding knowledge. It's not like he was a coding prodigy or something. And on the other hand, we had a experienced developer who built an application, shipped it, monetized it, getting revenue within just a month, and still is monetizing the application. So those are the two extreme you know spectrum that CreateOS is catering to. In fact, I don't know where I heard this, but I think some very experienced product guy mentioned that the best product is can be used by a person with very low IQ and a very high IQ. If that can be put into one particular unified platform, I think that's the best that you can do in terms of product making.
Nice. And on my side, I think there are like questions for both Eric and Sid on my side as well. I really want to understand from you all, like, because one of the pillars that we're bringing forward with CreateOS is definitely that of transparency, but not seeing, just, look at us. We are in a glass house. I think it goes way further than that. Like with CreateOS, I think we're shifting what is the understanding of building, because the barrier to those that can create are just removed altogether. I don't know. I am also not a tech. I've done some vibe coding. I felt my frustration every time there was the local host. It felt like Gandalf, you shall not pass. And definitely not. Whoever can understand Lord of the Rings references, you know what I mean. It is just, it is hard to stitch everything together. So even though there is a promise of, let's call it democratization of coding, just now there is still a lot of stitching that has to happen for someone to actually be fully autonomous as a non-coder. But I think CreateOS came because of this. So when it comes to transparency, we are promising as part of the brand shift, but also as a way to connect with our community, and probably also as a strategy long term for the product to be available as live streamers all the time. And Eric and I are already like pulling our hair, thinking how we're going to try and execute this. Juliana, who is not here today, but tomorrow I think we're going to go live stream with Juliana as well. So we have a promise of just making our team from 20 odd builders to us plus every single user on our platform. Our team exponentially has grown just because we're just going to be online, hang out, use the product with you guys, get any feedback, be very, very quickly. And AI in itself is just moving too fast to do anything other than that. So question from my side this time for Sid and Eric. How do you feel about these shifts? Do you think it's radical? Do you think you're going to enjoy? Does it feel a bit more vulnerable, both from marketing and product standpoint, to just be so much in the open and always building in public? So yeah, over to you.
Yeah, I think what we'll do next is try and keep the answers a little bit more so like like a quick fire, right? So Sid, I'll do my best. So you're asking essentially execution to
Go
onboard
live stream.
customer.
We just go live all the time. That's gonna be crazy in my opinion. I don't know how you feel.
No. I think it'll make our job easier in a sense, in terms of you really like there'll be no time, no need actual for thinking in terms of going to market. Like you just go ahead with the content, you see what works, what doesn't, and then you iterate quickly. So that removes the whole bit of the ladder, which is about of the pipeline, sorry, or discussion, reviews, which can take away a lot of time. And I think things, this better than me, both of you move at the speed of light. So by the time you've reviewed and discussed something, probably the ether and the world has moved on to a newer trend. So I think that approach is something that we ought to try and see how it works. Second part of my
But that
answer.
personal level, just tell me, like you being live all the time and then just code with me, because I think that's one of the crazy things that we are planning. I don't know if you're actually going to execute, but also us telling you that we are planning and we don't know if you're going to execute is part of this new approach. One of the
Yeah,
things
no.
in a pipeline is Eric and I just vibe coding live, which is like, I don't know.
I think I think that will work. I think that will work because it's something relatable. If you see something that doesn't that is not working on the platform, we'll report it to the team. You'll see it live being reported to the team. It
I
won't
think we are
be.
going to be reported to the team.
Yeah, exactly.
It is going to be
But
there policing us.
exactly. But you won't see it in such a way where which I think it's evidence of democracy in the sense that it won't be, oh, me and Alex have decided that today we're going to build a Sudoku game having such a UI and doing this. No, it'll be like more, okay, guys, what do you feel like building today? We built this yesterday. So it the collective knowledge bank and knowledge base will grow tenfold for everyone, right? Because you just have to tune in, understand what prompt is more effective. CreateOS is currently best at building this kind of use case or this kind of vertical, so we can double down on that. And then this other thing is not doing as well, so you can communicate that to the team. So to me, having that kind of core team led discovery is reassuring, right? Or would be reassuring if I was from the outside looking in. And then last thing, in terms of onboarding and going after folks, in terms of showing the world and telling the world about CreateOS, I think the fact that we're such a not systemic, but probably like um, uh, wide-ranging solution in the sense that it's a pretty holistic and comprehensive and exhaustive suite of services that are included within CreateOS, will provide both an opportunity and a risk. So you can go after folks in a way that is like both opportunity and risk. I'll leave it at that. But I think that will make things fun for us. And yeah, the world is our oyster. Last thing, sorry, it's finally nice to have a product that is easy to communicate to everyone without actually having to speak about nodes and people rolling their eyes because the average earthling does not
Fair.
know about blockchain infrastructure.
Fair. Sid, what about you? Are you going to come to the glass house and live code with us?
And someone said I'm going to keep it short, but but no, yeah, definitely. I mean, I am vibe coding. I'm testing out the product. There's like few amazing results, which I think one of them I did share on Twitter. In fact, the answer is like it took me less than 15 minutes to create the entire application and deploy it. But I mean, answering your initial question, that yeah, AI is moving in a very fast pace, and I mean, it's a very generic code that change is the only constant. And I mean, naturally, your brain doesn't like change, your body doesn't like change. It always resists that. But that's something that has to, like, that outlook we need to have to evolve, right? Either individually or as a product or as a team. So I mean, there's just so many things. I think like a couple of months back or almost a year back, there wasn't like the vibe coding concept wasn't there. Now all we talk about is vibe coding, so you never know if within 6 months what's the next thing that is happening. So yeah, I mean, there are radical changes happening in this industry, but I think the more we I mean adapt to it, the better it's going to be for like both the community, the company, and the product.
Nice. So what are we going to party on to see today? It's a launch party, like, so
I,
give me something. Give us
I,
something to party on.
I was just heads down to the launch. I haven't thought about any such things, but if you have any ideas, would love to explore those.
For myself, I definitely gonna. I shouldn't say this, but there shall be drinks this weekend. It's been like a grind. We are all like full on. There's been like nonstop, and we know what is planned. So guys, you will also both know that it's not like today we're gonna wrap it up. It's gonna just intensify. So at the very
Yeah,
least this weekend, some Italian wine as an Italian person. Some wine shall be had for sure. Eric, for you, same, more.
No, for sure, definitely some sleep. I didn't sleep much yesterday, but um, uh, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna party. It's probably just relax and see what the team is doing, and I can't even think about the weekend to be honest right now because today is a challenge. We were actually talking about this before. We're currently live on Product Hunt, and it feels like being in the trenches once again, like node like token launch days, where each day is a battle. But it's exciting, and I think the team has the right level of grit to actually endure because it's easy, probably from the outside looking in, to just assume that things just occur and just happen, right? And things you're just seeing from the outside looking in, that there's new features or new listings or whatever. But if we do that, then that means that our job is done properly, that you're able to just enjoy the experience, which is how it should be. But yeah, I think I'm a pretty competitive person, so I'm leaving no stones unturned for that top spot on Producon, just in general, because
Yeah,
it's today's aim.
I do have. Everybody here will be multitasking for sure. I am one of them. I have half of an eye to other chats where I've seen something. I don't want to say anything, but as a call to action for everybody, guys, if you are listening to this, please go to Product Hunt and smash that upvote button. Go, 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 go. If we can make Product Hunt ranking number one, that would be a strong signal that we mean business. I do feel that as we are launching this, maybe it's the new website, maybe it's the new language, I don't know what it is, but I do feel like we are in the big league. I feel like we are in a new ball game altogether. Not that the previous one was, was bad. Like, we were definitely like a market leader for NAS. We definitely were playing hardballs for sure. But now it's anyone, anything, any application. It's AI, it's vibe coding, it's mainstream. So it does feel that if we can get that validation on Product Hunt, and we can only do it if, anyone who is listening in live, please go help us. I am as competitive as Eric. Sid is as competitive, very quiet, but very competitive as well. We know that. What was it, Sid? We went bowling. You went bowling in Bangalore with Naman and everybody. Though that didn't look like a relaxed evening socializing. That felt quite intense, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I could see that there were screenshots of, you know, winning strikes being shared consistently. Like, someone was really wanted to win. And in general, like, we are as a team, we are in the same. Like, we really care. We really have a lot of energy, and we really want to be open and transparent and have fun and, build something that is meaningful and provides really a lot of value. Eric, questions back to you. I can sense that you have a question for both Sid and I. I sense it.
Yeah, I think just this is just more in general, because I think this is where we're heading next. Is that the next egg to crack will be actual use for these vibe coded apps, right? So I think the first phase is creation. I'm not saying that we've run it through or sort of like exhausted that initial phase, because not at all. Alex, you shared with me yesterday that it's literally like a year since the first sort of vibe coded mainstream tweet went live. So a year is nothing if you actually think about it in the big scheme of things. But I think it's become a pretty well-known phenomenon, vibe coding, that everyone can turn an idea into a working prototype, which I think is amazing. My question for you is what's next, right? And I think I have a theory, but what do you think? Like, I'm spending money, right, to create something. I integrate Stripe. What do you think should someone do with their idea next to try and get users, right, and hopefully some income?
Sid, you go. You
Yeah,
got better ideas.
Yeah, I mean, with respect to the creation flow, there's so many moving parts, and trust me when I say this is just version one. There's so many things in the pipeline that because of the interest of time, we couldn't ship everything out. Otherwise, probably it would have taken more time to ship, stuff. But there's so many optimizations that you can do in vibe coding that is in the pipeline. There's so many optimizations, so many added features, services that you can, uh, especially with like what people are using and right there in the market, having integrations, all of that in one product in one under one hood. I think that we're aiming towards that. We're going to be shipping new features every now and then, so I mean, stay tuned for that. And with respect to the final GTM part, this is again like there is no straight answer that okay, I've built a product, it's a good use case, I want people to pay for it. So there we're going to be helping creators with different strategies. Eric, you're there. Alex, you're there. I think you have immense experience and skills to understand how marketing works. You've especially done that for CreateOS. So I think that if we also propagate that those learnings, those any features or any skills to the creators, because sometimes devs only think of a product from a dev perspective, but when it goes to the market, that's a different perspective you need to have. So amalgamating all these different perspectives onto one thing actually makes that product go from your screen to a user screen. So I mean, that's something that we will be again working on, figuring out how to have the most effective GTM for even contributors, and eventually, hopefully, have amazing products which are getting amazing revenue by our contributors, so that they reiterate, they love using the product, give us feedback, what they like, what they don't like, what they would like to have. You know, the more we stay in touch with the ground users, I think the better we're going to understand what are their needs and what they want, and cater to those.
Yes. On my side, I can tell you that what I've seen as a product philosophy, and it is the team philosophy, it's not just that, we whipped it up for CreateOS, it's been all along, is I have an open philosophy to building products, right? We don't want to be building silos. We want to build something that is easy to be integrated with as many tools as possible. I could see, like in the chat, a few questions whether, for example, it supports Cloud Code, or will it be available on mobile, on Android? I am sure that the answer is yes at some point. The real question to me is, how will we be deciding the prioritization of what is going to come next? And that's where I think our community, our users will take a leading role. And that's why we're opening the door so much. Like, just because we can do something doesn't mean that we should do it, or we should do it first compared to other things. We want for the users to tell us what do they want, what do they need. And if there is a specific, and we've seen, like in AI, in this environment, you can really tell what is going to be the next big thing one day for another. You've seen, though, that there is a bit of a hard choice between doing something that is open and reusable and open source, like OpenClaw, and having something that is safe to use, and an average users who does not understand the intricacies of setting up a safe environment can still enjoy and benefit from. So I sense that CreateOS can be that safe sandbox for experimentation with an open, modular, open by default with integration MCPs and applications that can be used in a safe way using VMs in a way that makes sense for anybody who even can run scanning and security within the platform itself, can just trust that our wisdom somehow will protect them from the worst of these kind of tools that will keep coming. Like, and just because it's hyped doesn't mean that it's good, and just because it's good doesn't mean that it's fully safe either. So that would be have that approach that is safe, open, and user led. And you will find, especially on the template marketplace, I think that would be the real game changer, because anyone who is coming and building something, they can deploy it right away as a template, and that becomes a feature that others can use. So we will also, like, as long as it's safe and it's reasonably functioning, it will go on the marketplace. It's not like there's going to be a censorship or some commercial dark streams that will say no to, like, oh, because it's only open cloud, because we have some secret partnerships with clouds, and then we're going to shadow ban Gemini stuff. No, we will keep being open and neutral.
Yeah, and just to add on, we do support Cloud Code and we support many other IDEs. So would love for anyone to check out our docs. There's an integration section. So we have the MCP set up, so you can configure your MCP with whatever ID you are comfortable with, and go ahead if you're comfortable with coding on cursor, do that. And if when it comes to deployment, connect our MCP, just tell the LLM that okay, I want this app to be deployed. It will deploy for you. It will call our backend, it will configure everything for you, give you the final deployed link. So it's that easy. So yes, one thing is that, and second thing, we will be also exploring many things related to GPUs. I don't think that is widely explored in the market right now, and having the GPUs readily available for different use cases for training models or any particular use case where GPUs are imperative. I think we're going to have that offering too. So again, stay tuned.
I mean, you guys have done my job in terms of listing everything. Something else that I'd like to add, which I think is, I wouldn't say bleak, but it's real in the sense that I think right now the next generation of a friend of mine shared the list of companies that were funded, sorry, by A16Z, and I mean, I'm not even joking. 9 out of 10 were all had the name AI in there, right? And the team was, I think, more often than not, below the age of 20 or 21. These are, of course, not your average students. These are very driven and capable builders. But there is this there's a lot to be detracted from. There's a lot to be taken away from that, in the sense that this is where we're heading. It's inevitable. So I don't know whether the next age of SaaS, or what can I say, software-led solutions, so non-physical, I'm saying, provided on the web, will be, what can I say, more of a distribution of traffic and power, in the sense that you'll have smaller, more specialized and dedicated services spawning, rather than having, say, like an Uber, like another Uber is different because it's physical. But I don't see the next, what can I say, huge app coming from and having a monopoly, right? Unless they're providing like a international scale service, which of course you wouldn't be able to just come on CreateOS and have you could, but we'd be more than happy to power that solution. But I think all of this to say that I think there'll be more opportunity. You'd be able to come in, and it'll be up to you to carve your own path and story within an ever more competitive and noisy space, right? But I think, at least for how I'm geared and built, I take that as a challenge. So you have to do your homework. You have to know your audience. What are you vibe coding? There's a friend of mine who vibe coded, like, this is weird, but he's into fish. Like, so he likes fishing, and he likes aquariums, tanks, like fish tanks. And he vibe coded something that was so elaborate, which essentially, like here in Italy, there is a public data room where essentially you have access to these fish tanks or aquariums that are small, in the sense that there is specific data about the level of I don't know, pH in the water, or like specific parameters, right, that tell you about the health and vitality of the fish, and just like the overall situation of the aquariums. And he told me, it was like, oh, I like this. I'm sure there's other people who like aquariums. So it's a very specific segment there already, if you actually think about it, because the average person is not into that. But he said, I really did my homework. My solution is web coded, and it basically, all it does is just catalyze the information from these different websites, presents them in a nice, slick and polished format. And yeah, I just know that there's people like me who are after this kind of information, and I just sell it to them. It's doing pretty well, if you actually think about it, right? So that's an example for you of someone who has an interest. Of course, you can't go after something, you can, but something extremely broad and popular, because that, the stakes are higher and more difficult. But I think building and being an entrepreneur won't be any different. It's just that you have to play a different game, right? Because it's more democratized. So I think that's exciting, and CreateOS, it will be, I'm sure that's part of the stack of a lot of the new generation of builders. So that's the kind of vision that I'd like to be a part of.
Yeah. So you see, like, to me, that speaks of not settling for what is available. Just because before you didn't have the means to create something, and maybe you had that special insight. And I bet that what we're seeing out there just now, the bias, the structural, the systemic bias to what can succeed, is skewed towards certain type of default users or default buying power, default type of markets. So we are actually losing out in a lot of improvement of quality of life, because there are smaller things that can be solved successfully by people who see a problem and solve it. That's the nature of entrepreneurship, to me, is there. Like, you see a friction, and that friction is sparking creativity, and that creativity gets into execution, and that execution gets into distribution. And then you've got something that is valuable for those that are using it. So to me, I do sense that CreateOS can break a barrier into new type of products altogether. We are talking about enhancing the capabilities of net new people that are entrepreneurs but don't have the means to be fully supported into the entrepreneurial journey. And also that in any case were blocked because they needed systemic support from certain type of funding, certain type of VCs to get to the point of going live and doing GTM. And we are taking care of the entire life cycle because you can build something without having to raise money before you have a development team. You can then go to production without having to beg for credits to an AWS or an GCP or whatever, because certain startups with certain VCs funding will get more credits than you, and you're there disappointed. And then once you have to launch, you have to find a marketplace that will accept you. And then if you're from certain geographies or certain type of problems that you're solving for a certain type of geographies or demographic segments, you're not going to be taken seriously and so on. So I think the ambition is actually way more than what we are actually expressing with the product. For me personally, I really want CreateOS to become a catalyst for a better society. I know it feels cheesy, but hear me out. I really feel that this is a game changer because anyone can now build what they see as a solution to a problem for the people around them, geographically, emotionally, I don't know how to say, demographically, whatever it is, just come and build it. Yeah. And that's my hope. So what's next? Just let's build together something that you feel that it's good. Doesn't have to be a blockbuster, doesn't have to be a unicorn, but it will be very valuable for those people that you're solving for. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, I think we could be here at length discussing the possibilities of the opportunities and what's to come. And I think it's best to, I wouldn't say leave some things unsaid, but to be discovered, right? And which is something that we'll do together. As Alex mentioned, we will have an even more public facing approach, because you will be holding multiple streams on a weekly basis, vibe coding together, exploring new trends, new integrations that the team will capitalize on. You can expect more something tomorrow. Actually, we have an announcement on the open claw, which is now available as a template on CreateOS. So and we'll be discussing different angles as to when it comes to security concerns, relieving you of any expectation from an infrastructure and the technical setup, because we'll take care of that. And that's just an example of how CreateOS will be very, what can I say, in demand from an information standpoint. So we'll make sure to capitalize on all trends and be here to live through them with you, right? And hopefully you'll be a trusted user of ours. And if you have any concern or any questions or any feedback, could even be, I wouldn't say harsh, but please be polite, because we're being polite with you. And so it's a reciprocal effort here, and within the context of common decency and education. And the team is pretty stressed because we've been working nonstop. So, but at the end of the day, if you have a common feedback product related, just leave it to us, and we'd be more than happy to hear you out. You know who we are, the team, and we'd be happy to hear you out. And I'm repeating myself, and I find that. And I'm just saying happy launch day, Sid, Alex, rest of the
Oh,
team. Congrats on
do we
everything,
want to pick up?
truly.
Do we want to pick up questions? We
Sure.
we're wrapping
Sure,
up. I know we're wrapping up, but just quick fire. I'm just gonna read it out for Sid. One, can I? Because I actually don't know the answer to this. Can I use open source or self-hosted models like Llama 3, Mistral, or DeepSeek inside CreateOS? I
Yeah, I
actually
mean,
don't know this.
yeah, right now we're just supporting Claude, but within a week we're going to be making it open to all the popular LLMs. So yeah, you're going to be seeing more options of LLM to in the create flow. So yes,
Yeah. Okay. And then will CreateOS be available in Play Store?
Play
As of
Store.
now, I think, as of now, I think it's desktop only. The optimization hasn't gone as far as mobile, but I don't know if it will become an app as such. It will still be a web app, but Sid, you never know. Maybe we're gonna make it into a app.
I mean, you've put that idea into my head. I'm going to think about it. Let's see. We're going to come up with some solution.
one thing at a
It's
time.
working. Yes, live streams is working, guys. There you go. Okay, then there is a very lengthy question about reliability and security. So whoever asked the questions about reliability and security, deep dive into our docs, our videos. There is so much. And then I'm going to bookmark this as one of the topics for our live streams, Eric. And we're going to do a deep dive on that alone because a lot of thought has gone into that.
Yeah,
For
something.
Um,
sure. Yeah,
mm,
Yeah.
you answer. Let's answer this
but
one. How does CreateOS handle scaling and monitoring? Because I think that's also a good assist for our distributed network of decentralized compute providers. So I don't know if you want to take this, or
I
do you want
mean,
me
yeah.
to give a
So
pretty layman answer? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so like practically there are two types of scaling. One is vertical and horizontal, where in horizontal you can make multiple replicas of the services you have, and in vertical scaling you can increase the CPU and the RAM. So if you go to like the deploy flow, you have the environment tab, and over there you have the resource allocation. So there's a minimum limit and there's a maximum limit, also based on the tier you are. So in case you want a stronger machine, like a more powerful machine, which you would be using, you can switch on to another tier where you'll have enough credits to try out or deploy your projects. And that we can assure you that the pricing of this will be in it's very competitive to the lower tier. So if you're working with AWS, GCP, or the big players, it's going to be much cheaper than that. So yeah. And I think there was another question. I'll just take it. It does support databases and backend. So if you want to deploy your backend services, you can do that. In fact, it also supports like cache and messaging queues. Right now we have one provider, but soon we'll be integrating it with different service providers. In fact, if you are a service provider, if you have any services that you feel can be an add-on, addition to CreateOS, feel free to reach out to us.
nice. On my side, I think we've exhausted the questions. The one what just because it's me, I have one call to action for everybody. If you do have time, if you can, just go to Product Hunt, smash that upvote button if you like, of course, the product. So go test it, try it. If you can comment and leave your thoughts about what you think about the product, what you think it's the promise of the product, then that would help us a lot. Let's see if we can get up there, high in the ranking table. Remember, we're all competitive. We just don't want to leave anything on the table. Help us out. Go to Product Hunt and help us out. That's it. That's my
You
wrap
have
up.
it. No, you
Yeah.
have it, team. That's it. Guys, this is the end. This is the beginning of a new journey, new phase for NodeOps. I think one last point worth making is that we're not abandoning ever or at all our origins of what we did before. This is just simply an evolution. Okay, actually, let me answer that because someone asked what's the website link to vote. It's the comment on X. We've commented from the build on NodeOps handle. The URL is the following. Let me, guys, sorry, just 1 second. producthunt.com/products/CreateOS. So it's that simple, and then you'll be able to upvote and provide a comment. So that's for anyone out there who wants to kindly help. Sorry, I was saying we've gone from NAS to Deepin to now you could say full stack workspace AI infrastructure or builder infrastructure, and that's not abandoning or sort of turning the page of what we did previously at all. It's just purely an evolution. So we are evolving. Just we're up with the times. We are a team of builders, and you can expect future evolutions because that's who we are, and it's part of our nature. And I think that also makes things more fun. And thank you, Sid and Alex, for taking the time away from the today's chaos and today's manic. But I think it was helpful also for me to recharge and get some perspective.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Alex.
Of course. Thank you. Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.